The Bank of Canada made its announcement again this week, here December 2024, and it has cut again another 50 basis points or 0.5%. Let's see what that looks like historically. Okay, so we can see this goes back to 2020, before the pandemic, so January 1st, 2020. This is monetary policy in action. You've probably heard that phrase before. What you can see is over here on the left, we've got a big drop, precipitous drop. It came in two chunks, 1 full percentage point and a 0.5 percentage point right at the start of the pandemic. And then it stayed very low through 2022 when, and late to the game, they realized inflation had reared its ugly head and things were starting to spiral up out of control. And so they reacted with precipitous increases in interest rates all the way up here from, what was that? Well, the beginning of 2022, all the way up to September of 2023. Things stayed level for a while and now they've been dropping again. So is this good news or is it bad news? Well, the answer is it's both. The good news is that if you're a home owner who needs to mortgage again, remortgage, renew, or you are on a variable interest rate, that's great news. If you are looking to buy, also good news. If, however, you are a saver who likes to have their money tucked away safely in places like GICs and high interest savings account, well, this isn't very good news for you. Also, though, behind it is probably some concerning signs, perhaps even dire warnings. And that is, there's talk of a recession. Now, it doesn't seem very recession-like out there right now in some ways, but the Bank of Canada is trying to improve the economic situation by stimulating the economy through lowering interest rates. This is what's called fiscal policy. We need to be watching out for that. That could become a concern. Of course, while inflation is now back under control, it has not erased the effects of the inflationary period we went through where everything went up so much quite rapidly, and now basic costs, so things like fuel, food, transportation, that type of stuff, is much higher proportionately to income than it once used to be because incomes have not kept pace with inflation. And so even though we've beaten the inflation bear back down nicely, we're left with the terrible hangover of what's gone on. So you can see here on the too long didn't read, what's the good news? Well, new mortgage rules, home buyers are going to get some benefits, blah, blah, blah. You know, another episode of the government buying us with our own money, favoring some people over others, but that's how it goes. And so what does it mean? And is it really good news? Well, you're going to be able to take out a low down payment mortgage on homes worth up to $1.5 million now, which of course puts you in even greater financial jeopardy. Good news is if you can hang in there and maintain ownership of that, well, maybe that's going to work out for you, assuming that the cost of residential property stays as high as it currently is. But with all the fiddling around that goes on by government, who knows if that's what the case will be. Also, you're going to be able to, if you're renewing your mortgage or switching your mortgage, you won't have to face such difficult scrutiny when renewing. 30-year mortgage amortizations are going to be a thing again. Remember when they went all the way up to 40? You know, is that good news? Well, not really. It just means you're going to pay a lot more interest over time. It's good news for the banks because with these insured mortgages and longer amortizations, not only are their mortgages guaranteed through the insurance, but also they're going to be collecting a higher proportion of insurance from your monthly payment because of the longer amortization on your mortgage. So, good news, it's going to allow some people to get into the market. That may work out well for some of them. Some of them will no doubt take on more than they can afford. And if property rates drop, interest rates rise, they will probably sink beneath the waves. Anyway, is it providing relief for home buyers? Yeah, some, I guess, in some instances. But is it overall great news? Well, it doesn't address the underlying fundamental problem, which is residential property is just way too expensive in many, many markets in Canada.